You know what's crazy? Sometimes the things you think are small and harmless end up being the exact thing that tears your entire life apart. And that's exactly what happened when I told my husband that I would never stop talking to my ex. And I said it with the same casual honesty that I always carry with me, because I've never believed in lying about who matters to me. But the fallout that followed was something I never could have prepared myself for. I'm 29, and I've been married for just over 2 years, and for the most part, our relationship looked stable from the outside. People envied our wedding photos. They admired the way we laughed together at gatherings. And for a while, I thought I had found the kind of love that would last me through all the messy stages of life, but deep down I always knew there was one unmovable truth about me, and that truth was my connection with Daniel, my ex of 5 years, the man I grew up with, the one who held my hand through college failures, who sat with me in hospital waiting rooms when my mom was sick, who never once abandoned me when I fell apart. And even though our romance had ended years ago, the friendship never did, and I couldn't imagine my life without him in it. When I met Adam, my husband, I was upfront from day one about Daniel. I told him we still talked daily, that we caught up for coffee once in a while, that he was like family to me, and Adam smiled back then and said he respected honesty. He liked that I was clear about my boundaries, and I believed him. I believed that this was the kind of mature relationship where trust was stronger than jealousy. For the first year of our marriage, Adam didn't make much fuss about Daniel. He'd sometimes roll his eyes when he heard my phone buzz late at night, but he never said much, and I assumed he was just adjusting to the idea that his wife had a best friend who happened to also be an ex. But slowly, things began to change. Little comments slipped through, like when I laughed too hard at a text from Daniel and Adam muttered, "Glad he's still your source of happiness." Or when I mentioned grabbing lunch with him and Adam shot back, "Maybe you should just live with him then." And I'd brush it off as insecurity, telling myself that Adam just needed more reassurance. But I never really stopped doing what I always did. Because to me, cutting Daniel out wasn't just impossible. It felt like cutting off a piece of myself. The breaking point came one night when Adam came home after a long day at work. We were sitting at the dinner table, and I casually mentioned that Daniel had helped me figure out some financial planning stuff because he's always been good with numbers. And Adam put down his fork, looked at me in a way I'd never seen before, and said, "If you want me to see you as my wife, not just some roommate I share a bed with, you need to cut him off completely." And for a moment I thought he was joking. I even laughed nervously, but his face was dead serious. I tried explaining. I poured my heart out about how Daniel is family, how we have zero romantic feelings left, how he's simply a friend who knows me better than anyone. But Adam didn't budge. He just kept repeating that no husband should have to compete with another man for his wife's attention, especially an ex. And he told me that until I chose him fully and without hesitation, he'd never truly see me as a wife worth committing his whole heart to. His words cut me open, because how could he reduce my loyalty and honesty to some kind of betrayal? How could he ignore the years I've spent building a marriage with him just because I refused to erase someone who mattered before him? I told him no. I told him I wouldn't abandon Daniel, not after everything we've survived together, and Adam's face hardened into something I barely recognized. And that night, he turned away from me in bed without saying another word. Since then, everything has changed between us. Adam has pulled away piece by piece. His texts are colder, his touches are fewer, his laughter has turned into silence, and I can feel him testing me, punishing me, as if withholding affection will make me break, as if I'll finally call Daniel and say, "Sorry, I can't talk to you anymore because my husband won't take me seriously unless I erase you." But how is that fair? How is that love, when love demands I amputate the people who've carried me when I was broken? The worst part is how Adam uses the word wife like a weapon now, like when I ask him why he forgot our date night, and he says, "Because wives don't prioritize their exes over their husbands." Or when I try to plan our future, and he responds with, "Hard to think about a future," with someone who still lives in the past. It's been months of this slow erosion, and I feel like I'm standing in quicksand, screaming for him to see that loyalty to a friend doesn't mean disloyalty to him, but he doesn't want to hear it. He only wants me to prove my love by giving up the person who once kept me alive through the darkest chapters of my life. Sometimes I lie awake at night and wonder if Adam ever truly accepted me at all, or if he always thought he could mold me into a version of myself that erased Daniel from existence. And I wonder if I'm selfish for wanting both, a husband who loves me and a friend who's been my anchor. But then I remember the way Adam looked at me when he called me not serious wife material. And it hits me like a blow to the chest, because that's the man I married, the one who vowed to cherish and protect me, and yet he can't even respect the parts of me that existed before him. Now I'm left with this gnawing fear that maybe Adam will never see me as enough. Maybe I'll always be the woman who couldn't let go of her ex. Maybe this marriage is already cracked beyond repair. And yet, deep down, I know I wasn't wrong for refusing to let someone control me. Because if being a serious wife means betraying the people who've loved me unconditionally, then maybe I don't want to be the kind of wife he envisions.